Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. The Bitcoin chart has hardly moved since yesterday. Here on the daily chart, we are still in our main scenario. As you might remember, there are two scenarios, one allowing for a deeper pullback in the wave B. So we always have to be mindful of that, which just basically tells us, in very simple words, it doesn't tell you that deep pullback will happen, but it will tell you that if we break below $34,060, which is our current significant support for the fourth wave, which might still be unfolding, which is my primary scenario as per yesterday's update. But as long as we're holding that, everything's good. As long as we're holding support, we should continue with our uptrend. That's the primary scenario. However, if we break below that support, then we know that it's likely going to be a B wave pullback. So we know what we need to be looking for. We know which support levels we need to use and so on. And the next main support level below 34,000 will be the $29,000 level. So basically in these two scenarios, however, they are moving together in the short term. And in both scenarios, I would like to see one more high in wave 5 of C. That's the same wave count for both scenarios. Okay, it could be in the yellow count, it would be a C wave, so wave 5 of C. In the white wave, so in the yellow one, it's wave 5 of C. In the white count, it's just wave 5 of 3. But they are both the same count in the very short term. The only difference is regarding how deep they pull back, right? So at the moment, none of them should really break below $34,060. If yes, then I have to assume that the top in wave A is already in. Okay, so because in both scenarios, I'd like to see one more high before we then get basically a decision between, okay, is it the white count, which should only show us really shallow pullbacks, or is it the yellow count, which allows for a deeper pullback? If the pullback happens already now, it would be a little bit earlier than expected, but it would have to be the yellow count, because for the white count, the pullback would be too deep. Hope that makes sense. So in the short term, they are moving together. So I'm only tracking basically one microstructure, which is the same for the yellow and the white scenario. Now looking at the very, very short term, here not much happened since yesterday. So we still have this scenario in which a third wave likely topped here on the 8th of December. This is a third wave top. We then started our A wave to the downside. Then a WXY structure. That Y wave might still be unfolding. It could already have topped, but waiting for basically signals that we're coming down now. And in the primary scenario, I'd like to see that C wave to the downside still unfold. That C wave to the downside should ideally reach at least $39,260 in one 5-wave move to the downside. But Bitcoin is very stubborn. We've had that all year, which is good because it indicates bullishness. It just might take a little longer to get there. I mean, maybe Bitcoin will never get there. As I just showed you on the daily, the trend is still up and the main trend is up. And sometimes in a bullish market, the pullbacks are just shallow. That's not predictable. We can really only line ourselves with probabilities. Look for the normally, the standard support levels. What is normally standard support? And then focus on that. And then use the microstructures to understand what would be the targets in the short term to get to this or to that level, in that wave, like in the C wave, where should we get to? And projections show to roughly here 39,260. That might still change. If we push a little bit higher, then that might change a little bit, but that's the current idea. So in the main scenario, which is a short-term bearish one but overall bullish one, this was an A wave. This is a WXY structure in a B wave, and then the C wave down should still happen. In the other scenario, we could have bottomed already, but that would not be the primary case, not the primary scenario. Why is that? Because it's only this last rally here that started on Monday actually. The rally here, that was a 3-wave move. Also this rally, which started, that was Monday the 11th. This year was Monday the 18th. Got confused there. So both of these rallies that started on the last 2 Mondays, they were both 3-wave rallies. They are both corrective rallies. So I haven't gotten any impulse to the upside at this stage. that means it's a bit of a wait and see. So that means I cannot tell you with confidence, oh, the low is already in. Not if the rallies are 3-wave structures. Not if the minimum expectation really in terms of retracement, hasn't even been reached. So it takes a little bit more patience to find that out. Note that obviously in these corrections, we can always get very, directionless movement. Yeah, the bulls and the bears are still fighting. That's basically, these corrections are the battlegrounds of the bulls and the bears. I mean, in a trend, in an impulse, the situation is quite clear. One side is clearly winning. You don't really have that situation in a correction. So it's just a pullback in an overall uptrend. That's the idea. Sometimes the pullbacks are shallow, but yeah, in the white count, the low is already in. This would be a diagonal, wave 1 to the upside of the next wave up, wave 2 to the downside. This would be a wave 3, then a wave 4 and a 5. However, in the white wave 3, basically that short-term bullish count, or overall, basically the breakout count, to really believe it, I would like to see the third wave reach at least $44,050. That's the 1.38 extension. That's normally what I want to see a third wave reach in a diagonal in that situation. Until then, strongly leaning towards the yellow count. And even then, I mean, even in the yellow count, it should ideally extend a little higher. It doesn't need to, of course. I mean, in the yellow count, we should come down anyway. But the thing is, even in the yellow count, if I'm looking at the subdivisions, A, B, C, the C wave should have pushed a little higher towards 44.7, 44.8K. Doesn't mean it needs to, but it means that if it doesn't, and it starts to show signs of exhaustion, I need to see a little bit more evidence to really confirm or believe that a top has formed. Yeah. So at the moment, the Bitcoin price is still holding there above this trend line here. And as long as that trend line is holding, obviously it can climb higher, but it shows weakness. Shows some weakness, but it's still climbing the trend line. It did hold here the last support, And if we break above yesterday's high, then 44,700 and 44,800 should be next. Then 45,050, really looking at the micro fib levels here, because from a price action point of view, not much happened and the whole structure hasn't really changed in this correction. Still a 3-wave structure characterized by overlapping price action. To be honest, it looks even a little bit like a wedge pattern here. I mean, it depends on, I only get 2 touch points really there, or maybe, I only get 2 touch points there. But it looks a bit like a wedge pattern, obviously indicating exhaustion there. But that can change, these regularly in bullish markets break out to the upside. Still though, wedge patterns normally indicate exhaustion. So, I mean, again, my primary scenario for now would be that we get one more low, but it's an overall uptrend. So I don't think the bear is back. This is for me at the moment only a pullback in a larger uptrend, and I would be in favor of one more lower low into the yellow support area. That's my update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.